And welcome to Nerd Positively Reviewed. This is a podcast about the things you love and the voices that do and don't. Each episode, we will travel to the realms of awesomeness, and I'll answer the question that we all ask ourselves every time we watch a TV show or movie: where the hell do I know them from? I'll take a look at the directors, writers, and actors, then read some of the best of the bad and good reviews that I can find based on a title alone. My name is Bradley Buchanan. I am the self-proclaimed Emperor of Awesome, and I try to get these done all in about 30 minutes or less. I don't want to take up too much of your precious time. Right now, I'm working my way through the Acolyte. Now, this is the finale, so we're going to change things up just a little bit here how I do this. But the first thing we're going to do, go over some of the details, then we will get into the reviews. So I watched it last night, couldn't sleep, so I watched it about midnight, and then I went to bed after that. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so this is one of those shows I was super excited for. After the first couple episodes, it was losing me as the show went on. Did it redeem itself? Well, let's find out here. What is the let's see, what are some of the I for some reason I just forgot how to talk here, so bear with me. What's some of the background details? So this was released on 7/16 on Disney Plus. The IMDb has it right now at a 3.6 out of 10, and the episode is at a 5.5 out of 10. The tomato meter is currently at an 81%. It started at 92%. And the audience score started at a 29%, and it's currently at a 15%. Its lowest point was 13%, which was a couple weeks ago. The IMDb synopsis for this episode is just this: confrontation and revelations await. So let's talk about where I know them from. Okay, so this is directed by Hanelle M. Culpepper. She's directed SWAT, Westworld, Big Sky, Kung Fu. This is written by Jason Melcalf. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it, if I can't say that right. I can't say any word right today. They've written Heather's Butter. Leslie Headland, we've been talking about her for weeks now. Bachelorette, Sleeping with Other People, Russian Doll. Russian Doll's fantastic, by the way. I haven't seen Sleeping with Other People, so I can't say anything about that. But I can say, if you have not watched Russian Doll, that is what you should be watching of hers. I really hope that the hate that the Acolyte has gotten isn't going to hinder how great Russian Doll was. So, main stars of the show: Amanda Stenberg, she plays Osha and May, and she was in, Hunger Games. She was Rue. Everything. She was Maddie. The Hate You Give. She was Star Carter. And Bodies. She was Sophie. Lee Jung Jae. He played Master Saul, and you may know him from Hunt, where he played Park Pong Ho. A New World, where he played Lee Ja Sung, and the race reader. Wow, he was Prince Sayong. Squid Games, he was Song Ji Hung. Manny Jacinto, he plays the stranger. You would recognize him from The Good Place, where he was Jason Mendoza. 9 Perfect Strangers, where he was Yao. Top Gun Maverick, where he was Lieutenant Billy Fritz Avalone. Rebecca Henderson, she plays Vernesta Rao, and you would recognize her from Russian Doll. She was Lizzie. Inventing Anna, she was 88 Catherine McCaw. Werewolves Within, she was Dr. Ellis. Westworld, she was Goldberg. David Harewood makes an appearance in this episode, and he plays Senator Rayencourt. And I know him most famously for Supergirl, where he was John Johns, or Martian Manhunter. Blood Diamond, Captain Poison. Homeland, he was David Estes. And Harry Trevelyan, he plays Mog Adana in the Acolyte. You might recognize him from The Bubble. He was Gunther. The King Dartmouth. He was Dartmouth in The King, and Smothered. He was Jordan. All right, let's get into some reviews. Here's my disclaimer. I base the reviews I choose solely on title alone and have not read through them. Please forgive me if I mispronounce words. I normally know talk good. I will do my best to read them as I see it. Punctuation good, bad, and all. So let's find out what people are saying, shall we? All right, we are going to start with some bad reviews. This one is called I'm Very Confused. And this is a 1 out of 10. I honestly don't understand what the point of this story is. It's exhausting trying to relate to most characters when their motivations are unclear and their actions erratic, to say the least. Am I supposed to feel empathy for any of the sisters? Do I have to see Saul's death as karma for his mistakes? Nothing is clear. The writing limps all over the place, and the scenes that are presented as emotional, generic, I'm guessing, extreme discomfort due to the inability to connect with anything that is happening on screen. As if that were not enough, it is an open ending with answers that know little and promises of a continuation without clear direction. If anything, more than dissatisfied, the series leaves me confused in the worst sense of the word. At least for me, a firm disapprove. Well done. I like it. And I agree with a lot of it, actually. All right. I got a 3 out of 10. And so another bad review. All right, this one is called Disney Fumbled as Expected. And this one has spoilers in it. You are warned. This episode shouldn't have happened for one reason, but I'll get to it later. I didn't review episode 6 and 7 because I was late to those, and there was nothing to review. Putting a flashback episode right before the finale feels disrespectful. It's also good point. The show seriously feels like a waste of time and potential. You got like 30% of interesting stuff and the rest being completely filler. The episode isn't completely bad. It's like okay. It has interesting themes, but which are way too rushed to be taken seriously. This is what happens where every episode of your show is 30 minutes long and you have more filler than you have anything else. As mentioned earlier, the themes are interesting. It shows the Jedi aren't all good and that being led by their feelings can sometimes be an issue. There is also something else that is brought up, and it's the balance between good and bad. Every main character deals with this. May just wanted revenge for her mother. The villain wanted to show Osha the truth, and Osha herself wants to get her revenge at some point, and she gets it. When it comes to the rest of the episode, it is good action and some good scenes here and there. However, this episode should have never happened, at least like this, for one single reason, which is Saul. Oh man, this is a character assassination right there. He was a smart choice, even if his feelings would sometimes control him a bit too much. So now when May was tied to the table, why did you let Pip in her pocket? You saw it there and you didn't take it knowing May could use it. And don't tell me no one else could use it, since a Jedi literally used it later in the same episode. She should have never, and when I say it never, it's never escaped so easily. Anyways, this show was a waste of time. The premise was interesting, but ultimately it felt like a Disney show. I didn't have a bad time watching it either. It's just middle of the ground for me. Well done. All right. Let's do another bad review. All right. This one is called It's the Last Jedi All Over Again. And this is a 1 out of 10 stars on IMDb. Warning spoilers. The creative vision for Disney's Kathleen Kennedy era Star Wars continues to be split on the legacy of George Lucas and on his characters. The legacy characters that the fans actually care about are reduced to marketing props for the characters Disney writers want the audience to like, but which do not resonate with the population. In addition, characters whose fans already know characters who already have developed identities reportedly do things that are utterly out of line with the people they are. It would be like someone making a sequel of The Lion King in which Simba is not brave or noble or good. Fans would have expectations, and if Simba committed infanticide, fans would probably see that as out of line with his character. In the same way, Plagueis and Yoda and Kiadi Mundi, just like Luke, have actual identities and have already been developed. You can't just make these characters do things completely out of line with their character and not expect the fans to be put off by that. Cool. Well done. Okay. Well, there is some bad reviews. Let's turn the script. Let's see what some good reviewers have to say. Okay, I have a good review here. This is a 9 out of 10, and this one is called Intriguing. This show is very different from other Star Wars shows, movies, and that's a good thing. I enjoy how it explores the dark, corrupt side of the Jedi, especially since they've essentially normalized the kidnapping of children to join their cult. I'm really intrigued by the direction that Osha and May are taking and their place in the overall Star Wars universe. The lightsaber fights are better than those in the sequel trilogy. The effects are good, the performances were enjoyable, and there's a couple surprises in the season finale. The one negative aspect of the show is that it is badly structured. Some episodes are too short, and a lot of the ending are abrupt. These aren't cliffhangers, more like they introduce a character and the episode ends. It's unfair to judge the show until you watch the entire season. I hope there's a second season. Well, hey, cool, awesome. Let's do another good review. All right, this one is another 10 out of 10, and this one is called Excellent Finale, leaving much to want the second season. Warning, spoilers. This one is the lightsaber fight is hands down one of the best ever done. Spoilers, as I foretold, Osha ended up killing Saul, though not in a way I cared for, though it looks like Saul let it happen at the very end. If we were to, unfortunately, unlikely get a second season, there's a lot to look forward to with the Sith becoming two and Vanessa seeking out her former pupil. It was finally explained how May survived the fall, similar to Luke's fall in Bespin. This was as far away as you can get from the terrible season finale of Andor. Yeah, which mystifyingly, despite being the worst Star Wars show ever made, I agree with you there, did get a second probable dreadful season. Also, great final scene with a glimpse of Yoda. Okay, cool. I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I don't think they're going to get a second season. If they do, I hope it's not called The Acolyte. All right, let's do one more good review. All right, this one is called The Show is So Unfairly Scored. Warning, spoilers. As soon as this episode dropped in 5 minutes, the score was 3.5. People do not even watch it. I thought the whole season was okay. It's not the best, but it's definitely better than some shows like Boba Fett and most of the Obi-Wan. This episode has particularly had some of the best choreography we had and some scenes we have never seen in live action, as bleeding a lightsaber. Also, a cameo from Darth Plagueis, which I am really excited for. Overall, the show had some bad dialogues, which I don't know if people are aware, but all Star Wars content up to date has these. Rallying of the people from YouTubers and content creators to hate the show doesn't really help Star Wars, but just damages it. I think the show's overall score is 7.5. Well, you would be wrong. It is not. But hey, You liked it. Um, you had some good points. I mean, there were good reasons why. So well done. Let's uh let's go over some of my thoughts on the show. I have 5 thoughts I want to go over. One, so these are my thoughts in the Acolyte as a whole and the episode. So take with it as you will. Here we go. Thought number 1. The acting in the show was not good. It was not good. There's a couple of decent actors in it, but for the most part, it was pretty cringy. It felt like high school production a lot of time. If high school production of Star Wars, do better, get better people, whatever. I don't know. 2, the finale didn't feel epic to me. Since the last 7 episodes, it hasn't been that great. So I feel like this episode raised the bar from a -1 to a 1 in my book. And at least you're going from a negative to a positive, which I didn't know if that was going to happen. So, hey, a positive is better than a negative. I feel like this did in some way stick the landing for it. It's just the buildup was not there for the finale for me. 3, Manny Jacinto's a stranger was the best part of the show. And the best part of the show should have been Amanda Stenberg. Absolutely, she should have been the best part because she was the acolyte. The May OSHA was the acolyte in one way or the other. However, they didn't do the acolyte. They didn't. They were trying to just tell some anti-Jedi story, which is cool, but sell it that way. Sell the show that you're doing. Don't sell it. I'm like, dude, give us a Sith-based show. Barely show a Jedi, or if you do see one, so the fight that you have to do to kill them right away. So you stay in the shadows. That's what I wanted. I think that's what a lot of people wanted. It's not what we got, but we have to play the cards that we're dealt, right? So this is what we got. So moving on. By thought number 4, I dug the cameo Plagueis in the episode, especially if you read the book Darth Plagueis. The cameo with Yoda, I kind of figured it was going to happen. Especially when they said that he was off limits, I'm like, okay, he's going to be the end credit. So because if the show is successful, they would bring him in for season 2. The stranger being Vernesta's Padawan, knew that one. That was an alley up, whatever. The Jedi conspiracy, I think, is also pretty dumb. So Yoda is in on the conspiracy. So Vernesta going to Yoda in the final episode, is she telling the truth or is she lying to him? And if she's lying to him, would he be able to sense that? So there's some things there. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I'm buying in the show. 5, my last thought here. I've been really, really harsh on the Acolyte, but there was some cool things, especially in this episode. Lightsaber battles were pretty good. The bleeding of a Kyber crystal, man, that was awesome. Cortosis, the light whip, all those things were awesome. There was just so much in there that was not awesome. And so it brings it all down, man. So that's okay. That's fine. My rating on a 1 out of 10 on this one would be a 3. Let's talk a little bit about my nerd positively reviewed awards. Okay, a couple of awards I want to give for the show. Best actor, favorite character in the show, Manny Jacinto, the stranger. I was pretty much going back between him and Master Soul the entire show, but the further we got, Master Soul was in it more, but this episode did it in for me. I don't know. I just really dug him in this. Worst actor, least favorite character was Amanda Stenberg. I'm sorry. And when your main character is the least favorite, that's probably look to where your problem starts. I think there was something that could have been done with this Virgins, maybe she wasn't 2 people, but maybe it was like more like a mental thing. That would have been awesome if it was like almost like a schizophrenic who's a Jedi and a Sith at the same time. God, that'd be cool. But I just don't feel she tried. She was just monotone. She had the same face for everything. Nothing. I felt no emotion for the character that for Osha and May, except for in the first episode. That after that, yeah. So, um, thoughts on the story? Weak storytelling, wasn't cohesive throughout. The acting didn't sell it, at least, so it's a toss up if it's a story problem or if it's bad writing. So, cinematography, this is where it was probably the best. It was pretty decently shot. No big complaints. The show stealer was Manny Jacinto and Lee Jung Jae, Master Soul. And finally, what was my level of movie fog in it? So movie fog is when you go to a movie, how immersed in the story is it going to put me in? Or if I'm in the TV show, like, am I invested? Am I sitting there scrolling through my phone while it's going on because it's not catching my attention? Or do you got it, right? So out of a 10, this is going to be a 3 out of a 10. Now, it's up to you to decide on the Acolyte. Where would you rank the show? This episode, the show in general? Let me know. You can find me, friend me, or follow me on Facebook at Nerd Positive, TikTok at Nerd Positive One, and Instagram at The Fandemic. If you feel there's more of a conversation, feel free to reach out and let's talk. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the next guest on Nerd Positive. If you want to support the show, there's several ways to do so. Buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/nerdpositive. Patreon, patreon.com/nerdpositive. PayPal or Venmo at Bradley Butin. I'm not going to say no. Most importantly, just share the show with someone you want to make a little more awesome. Where's your time? 22 minutes. We're doing good. So don't forget to leave me a 5-star review so more people can find this out. If you like this, check out all things Nerd Positive. I'm also working on some kids' books, working a little bit here. So anyway, The Acolyte. All episodes have now been nerd positively reviewed.